So I found myself looking into Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding, and yeah, it's not just a wedding. It's a whole different planet. Like, imagine getting married on a $500 million yacht that literally has a sculpture of your fiance carved onto the front. Yeah, that happened. And everyone there, celebs, billionaires, the type of people who fly private just to avoid eye contact with the rest of us. No phones, no photos, NDAs for every guest like it's some secret government mission, not two people tying the knot. And the craziest part, the whole thing cost around $50 million for one weekend.
But the big bash is set for today. Bezos, one of the wealthiest men in the world, is spending, by some estimates, more than $50 million on the event, an amount and a location that's led to some backlash. Elizabeth Palmer has the story.
While Amazon workers are out there skipping bathroom breaks to keep their jobs. It's wild, almost unreal, but it's very real. So, here's the thing. Most people get married in a hall, or maybe a beach if they're feeling fancy, but Jeff Bezos, he got married on a yacht. But not just any yacht. This thing's called Koru, and it's honestly hard to describe. It's more like a floating mansion. Actually, no more like a floating empire. 417 feet long, 3 masts, 2 helipads, a full-time crew. There's even a wooden mermaid carved into the front of it. And it looks exactly like Lauren Sanchez. I mean, that's something. Bezos had it custom built in the Netherlands. Took 5 years to finish. Price tag, $500 million, $500 million for a boat. And that's not even counting the support yacht that follows it like a bodyguard carrying his jet skis, cars, and security team. It has its own helipad too, by the way, just in case one isn't enough.
The early events planned for tonight will be taking place here at the Madonna del Orte Church. It's a 14th century church. We've seen security guards and photographers milling about since Saturday.
Anyway, that's where they got married. Just casually anchored off the coast of Capri, Italy, sunny skies, private chef, champagne that costs more than most people's rent. You get the idea. And while all that was happening, while he was walking barefoot across teak decks with a private string quartet playing in the background, Amazon drivers were being timed down to the second. Literally. There've been stories of workers peeing in bottles so they don't miss delivery quotas. It's kind of surreal, right? One world where every second is tracked, and another where time doesn't even exist. So, here's the thing. Most people get married in a hall, or maybe a beach if they're feeling fancy, but Jeff Bezos, he got married on a yacht. But not just any yacht. This thing's called Koru, and it's honestly hard to describe. It's more like a floating mansion. Actually, no more like a floating empire. 417 feet long, 3 masts, 2 helipads, a full-time crew. There's even a wooden mermaid carved into the front of it. And it looks exactly like Lauren Sanchez. I mean, that's something. Bezos had it custom built in the Netherlands. Took 5 years to finish. Price tag, $500 million, $500 million for a boat. And that's not even counting the support yacht that follows it like a bodyguard carrying his jet skis, cars, and security team. It has its own helipad too, by the way, just in case one isn't enough. Anyway, that's where they got married. Just casually anchored off the coast of Capri, Italy, sunny skies, private chef, champagne that costs more than most people's rent. You get the idea. And while all that was happening, while he was walking barefoot across teak decks with a private string quartet playing in the background, Amazon drivers were being timed down to the second. Literally. There've been stories of workers peeing in bottles so they don't miss delivery quotas. It's kind of surreal, right? One world where every second is tracked, and another where time doesn't even exist. So, Part 3, the rules. Now you'd think at a wedding like this, people would be dying to post about it.
I'm so excited to announce this. I never thought at 55 that, I'd be getting married. I mean, life is just beginning. It is just beginning.
You are preaching to the choir
Yes,
right here. We love you. That's amazing.
It just gets better and better.
You know, selfies with Bezos, sunset shots on the yacht, maybe a sneaky snap of Leonardo DiCaprio eating caviar or something, but no. No phones, no photos, no exceptions. Every single guest had to sign an NDA non-disclosure agreement just to attend, like they were joining a top-secret military op, not watching two billionaires say, "I do." There were no Instagram stories, no TikToks, no leaks to tabloids. Not even a blurry shot from a waiter pretending to tie his shoe. Nothing. And when you think about it, it says a lot. Because when you've got that much money, that much power, and all those powerful people in one place, you don't want the public knowing anything that wasn't carefully staged. It's not just about privacy, it's control. Total deliberate control over what people see, what they hear, and what they don't. And look, on one level it makes sense. They don't want headlines the next day about who was there, who wasn't, who drank too much, or who made a scene. But on another level, it's a bit eerie. Because while millions of people live online sharing every coffee, every meal, every minor update, the ultra-rich are doing the opposite. They're disappearing behind NDAs and bodyguards and digital silence. There's this whole world happening, just out of view, and they make damn sure it stays that way. Part 4, the guest list. So, I looked into who was actually on the guest list, and yeah, it wasn't your average wedding crowd. This was more like a private summit of the global elite. Bill Gates was there, Bezos' old rival, now apparently wedding guest material. Barack Obama has been spotted vacationing with Bezos on Kourou before. There were whispers he'd be invited too, though no one can really confirm, because, you know, the NDAs. Then, there's Leonardo DiCaprio, who once went viral for making Bezos visibly uncomfortable while chatting with Lawrence Sánchez. Yep, still made the guest list. Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian, top executives from Hollywood and Silicon Valley, even Oprah has been rumored to be in the orbit. It's not just celebrity, it's not just tech, it's money, influence, and optics all shaking hands on a yacht. Now here's something that hit me. While these power circles were clinking glasses off the coast of Capri, Amazon workers in the US were literally fighting for their right to unionize. At a Staten Island warehouse in 2022, workers voted to form Amazon's first ever union.
From New York and Georgia to California and Illinois, the Teamsters Union says delivery drivers for Amazon and workers at some facilities have walked off the job, demanding better pay and working conditions.
And Bezos? He didn't exactly send champagne. The company spent over $4.3 million that year on anti-union consultants trying to crush the movement. And that's the contrast, right? Inside the wedding billionaires in custom suits.
I was just telling you, I'm a little nervous, but I love it. It's so exciting.
Floating above the world on a $500 million boat. Outside, warehouse workers begging for air conditioning and fair wages.
We want to make sure that every customer gets their packages, but we also need what we deserve.
Some even reporting injuries and being told to finish their shifts anyway. It's not just a gap between rich and poor, it's a chasm. One where a wedding isn't just a wedding, it's a show of power, of who's in and who's very much out. Part 5, the security. Right, so the security. And I know what you're thinking, obviously they'd have some security, I mean it's Jeff Bezos. But this wasn't just bodyguards and bouncers. This was military level. According to reports, the wedding had private armed security surveillance drones and a full aerial no-fly zone over the yacht. Even the Italian Coast Guard was allegedly involved, not to crash the party, but to protect it. Boats weren't allowed within a certain radius. Locals were told to steer clear. It wasn't just private, it was sealed off, and the staff, hand-picked, vetted, trained to serve, smile, and stay silent. No one talks, no one leaks, and absolutely no one steps out of line. What's ironic is, Amazon warehouse workers have been complaining for years about security too, just not the fancy kind. We're talking about constant camera surveillance, AI-powered tracking systems, and those notorious productivity monitors that literally flag you if you slow down. In one leaked memo, Amazon reportedly tracked employee turnover rates so closely,
Teamsters union leaders say Amazon missed a December 15th deadline to negotiate a first labor contract with their employees, who want sick leave, more paid time off, and wages that are comparable with FedEx and UPS.
they were worried about running out of people to hire in parts of the US. And that's the parallel that's hard to ignore. At the wedding, security to protect the rich from the outside world. In the warehouses, security to control the workers from the inside. Same tools, same intensity. Completely different reasons. One group is shielded like royalty, the other is watched like suspects. Part 6. The Ocean. There's something almost poetic about it. Bezos and Sánchez drifting across the Mediterranean on a $500 million yacht called Coro. Clear skies, blue water, fresh lobster on deck, peaceful. But the irony, it's sharp. This man made his fortune by building a company where drivers have been reported to urinate in bottles just to stay on schedule, where injuries in warehouses sometimes go unreported because time off means falling behind. And now he's sailing on an ocean so calm, so wide, it makes the rest of the world feel tiny. It's freedom for the few, paid for by a system that keeps the many stuck on the shore. Part 7. The Ring. So, the ring. Not just any ring, a 20-carat diamond reportedly worth around $2.5 million. It's massive, can't miss it even in low lighting, massive, sparkles like a lighthouse, and yeah, it's beautiful, but also kind of loud, you know? It's not just saying we're in love, it's saying we own love, and we'll spend millions to prove it. And that's the thing, this wedding wasn't subtle. Every detail, the dress, the yacht, the ring, felt like it was made to be seen, even if no one was allowed to actually see it. Meanwhile, back on land, Amazon's average starting wage is around $18.00 an hour. You'd have to work full-time for 35 years just to afford that ring. And even then, you'd still be nowhere near the boat. Part 8. The Staff. Waiters, security, cleaners, all flown in, trained, and told to vanish into the background. They smiled, they served, they made the magic happen. But no one hears their stories. Because in a $50 million wedding, the workers are invisible. Their paycheck isn't luxurious. The reality, very different from the party. Part 9. The Price Tag. $50 million. That's what this wedding reportedly cost. $50 million. For a few days. To put that in perspective, that's enough money to provide clean drinking water for over 10 million people, or to erase the medical debt of thousands of families, but instead, it buys a weekend on a floating palace with diamond rings, private jets, and secret NDA. And somehow it just feels wrong, like a story from another planet. But it's not. It's real.
One time, Jeff actually told me that. He goes, you know, you're an explorer. And I was like, what? He goes, yes. He goes, you're a pilot. You like to see the world.
Part 10. The Power Play. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a show of power. A statement from the richest man on earth standing on a yacht the size of a fortress, surrounded by the world's most powerful people. Love? Maybe. But also control? Image? Influence. This was the billionaire class reminding everyone else exactly where they stand. Not invited. Not included. Just watching from afar.
One protester floated a life-size mannequin of Bezos lying atop a giant Amazon box into a canal.
And that's the real story. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild ride inside Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's $50 million wedding. If you thought this peek behind the scenes was something else, hit that like button. Got thoughts? Drop a comment. I want to hear what you think about all this, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world the ultra-rich really live in. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.